what women consider to be great sex, and how you as a man can implement these 3 tips I'm going to be providing you today. Now, sex on my channel is something I talk about from time to time, and I do this because it's important. A lot of people learn about sex through porn and through other outlets that are not representing or even having the woman's best interest in mind. And coming from a woman, I think these 3 tips are something that every single man should know and use when you're going into an intimate setting with a woman, that not only allows her to feel recognized by you, supported, but also to ensure she's having a good time as well. Because a lot of women have been there and they kind of have to fake it in order to make you as a man feel like the man in the bedroom. And this is the way you can make her feel like a woman in the bedroom, from a place of having reverence over her. And this is something that creates that infatuation, that magnetic pull that she wants to have with you and you want to have with her. So let's get into today's video. The number 1 tip I think every single man should learn and know how to do for a woman is making the woman you're pursuing or desiring or have a relationship with, making her feel desired. Now, for a woman, feeling desired is something that really allows us to feel confident in who we are. And we want to feel confident going into the bedroom. And for the men who are not shy, letting your woman know you desire her is something that really builds that attraction towards you. And it puts you in the place of being the pursuer. And I think when it comes to sexual intimacy and building that attraction and chemistry, there has to be polarity. A woman is innately wired to be desired, to be the one who is being pursued by the man. And for a man, you thrive being that pursuer. So don't shy away from sending your girl a cute, flirty text in the middle of the day, telling her that she's sexy or that you deeply desire her right now, showing her that she's on your mind, even if it's you picking out lingerie you want her to wear later, and having the intimate moment in mind. And you're using the moments throughout the day to allow that chemistry to build by being playful, being flirtatious. You're giving her clarity beforehand of how you feel for her, how attracted you are to her, being playful within where you're touching her throughout the day. This is something that really heightens that, like I said, attraction, that chemistry, and allowing that to build throughout the day will create that anticipation leading into the intimate moment. You guys are creating moments before. Making sure that your desire over her is something she knows. Women crave that constant pursuit, and by you being the pursuer and not shying away from it, you're making her very attracted to you and stimulating her in the ways of emotion that really does matter to women. Second to that is a man who knows the power of contrast, especially in sexual settings. Now, what I mean by this is having contrast of both softness, roughness, light, and dark, that creates that compel, that draw, that heightened energy that is felt through the energetic body. And when I say energetic body, of the deeper sensations we can feel as human beings. And having that variety in the sexual setting is fun, it's playful, and it's mysterious. I have to say this, we have to ensure that our partner is safe with us. Like, we want to have their best interest in mind. We want to have consent. We want to try these things with people we're comfortable with. Okay, just had to mention that beforehand. But getting back to contrast, contrast is such an exciting part of sex. Is not it being this one plain note throughout the whole time. It's there being that dynamic of push-pull, of softness that you caress her with, having rigidness through roughness. And this can go back to the role of being submissive and dominant. And she wants to feel taken care of. And a great way for a man to do this is start soft. Allow her to feel the sensations of your lips, of your touch, all of these things that play a part in building that anticipation for there to be that dance of contrast, of incorporating some things that make you feel masculine, feeling dominant, feeling forceful in a way that's coming from, again, you guys, having her best interest in mind, but also playing into those roles in a sexual way is going to give her that mental stimulation as well as physical stimulation, is incorporating the dark and light. Women really do crave a man who is in control of the sexual experience. It allows her to relax in the moments that a lot of women can be in their mind more than in their body. And it's you putting her in the position of feeling safe, feeling comfortable, but also her feeling allured by your dominance and what that offers to her. It's submission. It's her relaxing into the moment because you have shown her your care in the ways going into the dynamic, in the ways of how you caress her, how you hold her, but also you being able to step into that masculinity that women are wired to want in the bedroom. Last but not least, and this one is very important, that I think a lot of porn and stuff like that you have watched as a man doesn't really show and doesn't highlight the importance of, which is taking your time. Sex isn't about rushing it. Sex isn't about allowing your sexual energy to take full throttle on the interaction itself and it being over before it even began. So for a woman to see that you have self-control over the moments of how you control your sexual energy is something that's very powerful and very magnetic to us women. So one of the most common mistakes is you rushing the moment instead of creating a moment to begin with. And that takes you being deliberate over the moment itself, you having intention going into it. By creating that slow burn that allows the moments to last longer, rather for it to be swept up in this fast momentum that our sexual energy, and probably you being a man, can feel really intense. It's you controlling that and showing her that you actually want to make her feel good. You actually care about how she's feeling and giving her that pleasure a lot of women don't get to experience. Men are not taught enough about a woman's pleasure. Instead, they learn it through these fake scenes on porn that are curated for a man's pleasure and not a woman's. So to be clear is making a moment into one that makes her feel desired, seen, and affirmed within her sexuality. And what I mean by this is making her feel sexy, making her feel like she's the only girl in the world in that moment, the only one you want. And not only does this allow her to soften into the moment, but it actually allows her to build her sexual energy because ours doesn't get turned on the same way as a man's does. It's not by seeing you naked, and that creates that arousal. It's by the time you put into it, by your touch, by your words, by the slowness that builds that momentum gradually, rather than just doing that full throttle, being fast in the ways that you kiss her and the ways that you touch her. Slow it down and stop racing to the finish line. The finish line, if you don't take your time, you're going to be the only one there and not the woman. So giving her that space to actually ease into her sexual energy rather than thinking it's something you have to do with your tongue or do with your mouth to make her get turned on. It's actually in the smaller moments you create within your presence over her.